Alright, so today I will be surviving 1,400 days in hardcore Minecraft. Today, I want to take on one of the rarest things, and that is getting myself a rare blue and gold axolotl. There is only a 0.0008% chance of getting this color axolotl, so I have a lot of work to get done. And when I do get one, I have sort of a special tribute I want to build to celebrate this axolotl. So be sure to stick to the end of the video to find out what that is. Also, don't forget that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications as it really helps the video out. And with that, let's just jump into it. Alright, so the first thing I wanted to do was actually get my axolotl, and for that, we were going to need an absolute ton of tropical fish. Now, they're really hard to get to breed axolotl, so I had an idea for building this giant system to actually very easily get tropical fish, and for that, we were gonna need a ton of glass. I guess, in retrospect, we didn't need it specifically to be made out of glass, and I probably could have saved time not making it out of glass, but that's ultimately what I decided. So yeah, I spent about a day getting all of the sand I needed. So I got all of that sand, and I already had a bunch of furnaces already in waiting, so I started smelting them right away for an absolute ton of glass. Then it was just a matter of gathering a few other resources, and we were already ready to go. Now all I had to do was just build our tropical fish farm over a warm ocean. And lucky enough for me, literally directly off the coast of my base is a warm ocean right here. So all you have to do is tower up 128 blocks, so that way the only mobs that will be spawning is in this farm that I am making, and then you just build a giant box in the sky and fill it with water. It's legitimately that simple. I decided to make mine 10 blocks by 10 blocks wide, and then just build it as high as I could with all of the glass that I had. Then once you've built it all the way up, you just fill the top layer with some temporary blocks, cover that with water, break the temporary blocks, and your farm is completed. So now that I had an easy way of getting a ton of tropical fish, next was actually working on a system to start breeding my axolotl. And I was watching some YouTube videos for some inspiration how to do this, and I saw this one video by this one guy. I liked how he did it. He made several different breeding pens for the individual axolotls. So by having 2 axolotls in each pen, it became so much easier and a lot more efficient to breed them rather than just having them all in one little pit together. So yeah, making all of these individual pens was super simple. I already have a stone farm, so getting a ton of stone is really easy. You then just build a 2x2 little area, cover the bottom with stones, that way they can't, you know, swim away, and then put half slabs on top, so that way they can't get out, and now all you have to do is fill these things with axolotls. And then once we would breed the axolotls in each individual pen, we could simply just grab the baby axolotl and start putting them into the other pens, and they would start filling up. I initially started looking for axolotls through caves and all of that, but I actually wasn't having any luck. I was finding no axolotl spawning down here, so I decided, you know what, heck with this, I'm just gonna build my own axolotl spawning farm. And the reason why I'm not just building this farm to get an axolotl in general is because in 1.17.1 they changed it so that way it is impossible for an axolotl to actually spawn in Minecraft. The only way they can be obtained now is through breeding, which is why I'm having to do all this. So I simply just dug out a huge area, dug a 2D hole, and filled it all with water, put some carpet around the edges, that way no mobs were spawning, like that dumb creeper in the background, and now we would have axolotls and glow squid spawning in here. I obviously didn't care about the glow squid, but there was really no way for me to prevent them from spawning. And every time I left and came back, as you can see, there was always more axolotl down here. So it was just a matter of having to fly away with my elytra, coming back, and getting as much axolotl as I needed. Obviously, I wanted to primarily rely on just breeding them because, as I said, it is impossible to get a blue axolotl with this method. I just needed some axolotl to get started for now. And as you can see right here, all I had to do, like I said, is fly at least 128 blocks away, so they all despawned. Then once I went back down there was always new mobs spawning down here. So that's what I did over and over and over again to give me enough axolotl just so that way I could get our axolotl breeding farm started and ready to go. So to make this as efficient as possible, you just put 2 axolotl in each cage, so that way you can always breed those specific 2 every 10 minutes, and you don't have to just randomly spam click at a pile of bunch of axolotl and hoping they breed. And plus that way you'll never actually notice if you have a blue axolotl, so this is really the best method. Obviously this was all kind of annoying because we kept on having to fly away to get the axolotl, plus we have to fly in the sky to get all of our tropical fish, so this spent a ton of fireworks for my elytra, but lucky enough for me, I have a sugarcane farm and I have a ton of gunpowder left over from all of the TNT I got. So really quick, I just made myself a bunch more fireworks so that way we can get started. I forgot to record the footage of me actually getting this little bit of tropical fish here, but like I said, it's pretty easy. You just grab the tropical fish in there and then you start breeding them. And then you just use 1 bucket of tropical fish per axolotl, and then boom, they poop out a baby, and that's that simple. And then you can actually feed a bucket of tropical fish to a baby axolotl, and it will have the amount of time it takes for them to grow. So I started doing this right away. I stopped doing it in the future because it took so long to breed them that they already grew up, so I didn't even have to in the future. But yeah, I started doing that now, just help speed the process along. As you can see right here, I actually remembered to record this time of me actually getting the tropical fish. So as you can see, it's simple enough. I wasn't that good at clicking on the tiny little tropical fish, but after doing it a couple hundred times later in this video, I eventually got pretty good at clicking on them and becoming a lot faster at doing this. And really, that's it. That's the process of trying to get a blue axolotl. You fly up there, you breed all of your axolotl, you move the little baby axolotl into their new pens, you feed them the tropical fish, that way they grow up faster, and then when you run out of space, you just add more pens. Eventually, I realized that 2 axolotl of the same color always had a baby of that same color, and I wasn't certain if that was going to rig the system. Like, for instance, 2 yellow axolotl would 100% of the time give me yellow axolotl with a 0% chance of a blue axolotl. I didn't know if that would actually happen or not, but I decided, you know what, we're just not going to risk it, and I decided to have 2 different colored axolotl in every single pen. And it was around this time that I also realized we didn't have any brown axolotl in here anywhere, and there wasn't breeding any, so I went and I grabbed a couple brown axolotl. Plus, while I was waiting for them to be able to breed again, because it takes 10 minutes in between each breeding time, I always was just go over to my axolotl farm and grab a few extra axolotl, just to help me speed up the process again even a little more. And in no time flat, we had already filled up all of the cages that we built, and it was time to expand this even further, which of course is just simple enough as adding a few stone around the water, then of course the stone below and the slabs on the top. I then went through and bred every single axolotl in this pen again until the point where we were full even after we extended all of the cages. As you can see right here, I actually did a little bit of math for you. Getting your blue axolotl is a 1 in 1,200 chance. I currently have 40 cages, which means I would have to breed every axolotl 30 times in this farm you see right here just to get a blue axolotl. Now, it's obviously not going to take that long because, of course, we're going to continue to expand the farm and get more axolotls, so it'll save us even more time. But yeah, it's still going to take quite a while. And right here, I actually eventually figured out that I should probably turn on hitboxes to make it a lot easier to realize where to click to get the tropical fish and to breed the axolotl. So I did that, and then we just went through and did it all again and again and again and again. It was really quite the tedious process and quite annoying. And this right here is actually the last time that I actually started feeding the baby axolotls that would grow up faster, because it took me so long to go through breeding all of the axolotl that it now, after this, became pointless. In fact, I extended my farm so much that I actually ran out of stone, so I had to go back to my stone farm to really quick grab some more stone so that way I could yet again expand my farm even further, nearly doubling it in size, which I need to do that because every time I breed every single axolotl in the farm, I basically double the amount of axolotl that I have. And so as you can see right here, here is all the current axolotls that I have, and then this portion over here is what I have extended. And once I breed all axolotls that I have, all of these pens will be filled up. Went through the process again, getting a ton of tropical fish, going through, breeding them, grabbing the baby axolotls, putting them in their new homes, waiting for them to grow up so I can breed them as well. Bit of a tedious process. Once it all finished, as you can see, all of the new pens that I built were already completely filled. This was actually taking a little bit longer than I thought it was going to, and I kept on sleeping through every single night, and I was worried that I was actually going to run out of days and get to day 1400 a little bit too quickly. So I decided to get a bunch of torches and actually add some light to this area so that way I could start working during the night rather than sleeping to go ahead and save myself a little bit of time. Once I did that, I worked through this night by extending my axolotl farm even more and going through the process of breeding every single one of them again. And right here is the refined process of what I went through. I eventually learned just to leave the baby axolotls in there until we finished breeding them all because there was no point in moving them. So I would go through, use an entire inventory of tropical fish to breed axolotl. Then once I was done with that, I would go over all of the axolotls to see if any of them were blue. And sure enough, on this attempt, right here, we have finally gotten ourselves a blue axolotl. I decided to feed him a tropical fish so that way he would grow up in just 10 minutes and we would have finally have this done. And boom, there you go. 10 minutes later, we have ourselves the rarest mob in Minecraft, a blue axolotl. Now it was just a matter of deciding what to name him. And I don't know if all of you guys watching are old enough to remember this TV show, but there was a TV show called Blue's Clues, where the dog was blue and its name was Blue. So, yeah, I decided to name our axolotl Blue's Clues. So why not? There you go, Blue. Absolutely amazing, looks amazing, and in the future, I actually want to get a second blue axolotl, so that way I can breed these two and get essentially an infinite amount of blue axolotl, but that is a project for a later date. For now, I just decided to keep Blue safe, and I actually had an idea of where to keep Blue. I actually kind of wanted to build a little mini aquarium in the back end of my bed here, and I would keep Blue there, but before we did that, I decided to work on something else, and for that, we were actually going to need to go to the end and repair all of my tools and stuff. So that way we can start the process of mining for a ton of copper because I wanted to build myself an absolutely massive tribute to Blue. And now for this, I can't remember exactly how much copper we were going to need, but seems to me I did the math and I needed to find something along the lines of 300 different veins of copper just to get enough, which isn't actually as hard as it sounds because copper is quite common and all you had to do was find like caves and ravines and stuff and you would be able to find multiple veins of copper per cave and ravine. I started off initially strip mining to find all of that copper and it wasn't working out well. However, as you can see right here, once I started primarily looking just for caves and ravines, you would get copper so much quicker. But even with that, all in all, the entire process of getting all of the copper that I needed, if I remember correctly, took me something along the lines of 4 to 5 real life hours. So yeah, it was quite the tedious process. Didn't actually take as long as I thought it would. When I initially started out, I thought it was going to take a lot longer. As you can see right here, I mean, we were just finding veins of copper left, right, and center once we primarily started just going through caves and all of that. So after about an hour and a half or so, my pickaxe had been worn down enough, and this is all of the copper that we had gotten. You're actually able to turn raw copper into raw copper blocks, so that's just how I decided to store them. Then I went through and repaired my pickaxe, because obviously it was nearly broken. Wanted to be very careful, make sure it didn't break, and it was time to go looking for some more copper again. And as you can see by this replay, what I actually decided to do was just dig in a straight line like 1,000 blocks. That would intersect a ton of caves, and then we would go back through my tunnel and just find each cave individually. It was a lot easier just digging one tunnel and never stopping and then going back through each cave. And as you can see, once my pickaxe had been worn down pretty much all the way again, this is all of the copper we had gotten again. And I decided just to start smelting this right now. We didn't quite have enough, but I decided we just, might as well get a head start on this. Unfortunately, you cannot smelt blocks of raw copper into just a block of copper, which really disappointed me. It would have been so much easier and so much faster if you could just smelt a block of raw copper, but nope, you have to get the actual raw copper individually and then smelt that into a copper ingot. It required an absolute ton of stone, and it took me like 3 in-game days to actually smelt all of the copper that I had on me. So yeah, it took a ridiculous amount of time, but eventually we did smelt it all. Once I fill out a stack in each of these individual copper slots, that is how much copper we need to build our massive tribute to Blue's Clues, our axolotl. Which means I need to fill these 3 shulker boxes with raw copper, and we are done. So the process is exactly the same. I flew around 6,000 blocks away from spawn until I found a ravine, and I started mining out all of the copper in that ravine. I then just dug straight down, and I started digging in a straight line to find some more caves. And this right here is the start of my tunnel. Right? And I almost didn't include this in the video because it is so unbelievably rare that this actually happens that I'm like, I mean, I was stunned what actually happened is about to happen. I just, I'm getting my inventory sorted to start mining in a straight line, whatever, looking for caves, all of that, I'm getting ready. And then I start mining in a straight line, and in less than 20 blocks from where I started, you're about to see in a second here, I found a stronghold. I mined directly into a stronghold in this tunnel. I had no idea it was here. This is not even the stronghold that I initially found in my hardcore world. This is a completely different stronghold that I have never been to before, literally ever. Again, the odds of this happening is so insane that I almost didn't include it in the video. But I mean, like, how can I not? Like, what are the odds in this? It literally has no benefit. I don't need anything in a stronghold. I'm nearly 1,400 days in hardcore Minecraft. I don't need anything a stronghold could provide to me. It's just so like, what? I mean, it's so weird. So yeah, and as you can see right here, here's the portal. It's not built in, so there you go. It's a completely different stronghold that I've never been to before, and I will never come back to because I don't really need to be here in the first place. I just thought it was really, really interesting. So yeah. After that, of course, I went through the entire process of mining my tunnel in a straight line around about 8,000 blocks or so, and here it all is. And as you can see, we have intersected multiple caves along the way, and I must confess, I kind of, cheated a little bit by taking advantage of this replay mod to helping me find some caves and ravines that I very narrowly missed. But hey, I had to get the replay mod footage anyway, so I just, what am I gonna do? Not benefit from the replay mod footage? I mean, come on, I had to use it. So yeah, I got all the copper, and we were getting ready to smelt it all with all of the coal that I also got from all of this, and that's when I realized I actually accidentally left some cooked copper in these blast furnaces that I never took out, which means I actually did not have to mine all of this copper. In all reality, I only had to mine like half of all of the copper that I had just gotten because of all of the copper that was left over and all of my blast furnaces. So yeah, that was kind of a small brain move by me. I didn't have to do all that mining. But yeah, we got it all smelted. That's all super boring. You're smelting copper, blah, blah, blah. Skip ahead. I got all of the supplies I needed, and I finally figured out where I was going to put my tribute to my axolotl, and I was going to put it in the side of this mountain right next to my house. So I had to clear out some of the trees and stuff to get it out of my way, and we can finally get started building this absolutely massive tribute that has taken me over 20 days to mine all of the copper necessary to get this built. Overall, it wasn't too hard. It is a hollow structure, so it's just a simple, outline. Really not that difficult. It did take a number of days to actually build it, though, of course, because of just how many copper blocks we needed to build this thing. And as you can see, of course, it is the Statue of Liberty with a little twist, and I actually turned the face of the Statue of Liberty into an axolotl. So there you go. And one little historical fact for you, the real Statue of Liberty was actually brown, just like how this statue is. But of course, copper oxidizes and turns green in real life, just like how it does in Minecraft. So eventually, this Statue of Liberty will turn green, much like the real statue, but it will take time. Yeah, there you go. Here's my absolutely massive, amazing looking tribute to Blue's Clues, my axolotl, completely built. And after all of that, I finally decided it was time to give Blue his house. And so I built the back of my bed into an aquarium, like I said, but I honestly kind of felt a little bad. Like, he was stuck in such a small, confined little space that I'm like, I can't do this. Blue's Clues, he's too rare, too special. And then that's when I realized, duh, Zelk, you stupid head, you literally have an entire aquarium house that you built several hundred days ago. Just put him in there. So I'm like, oh yeah. So I broke in, put Blue's Clues in there, and of course he attacked all of the tropical fish that I had put in there, but I mean, oh well. you know, it's a little snack for him. He'll enjoy it. So yeah, Blue now has this entire massive aquarium-themed house all to himself. I didn't feel like fixing the mini aquarium in the back of my bed, so I just decided to put a random axolotl in there because, you know, why not? It saved me time from having to fix the entire structure, and plus, I like yellow axolotls. I think they look cute, and it fit the theme and the color scheme of my house. Yeah, put him in there, and then there you go. There is Blue, just happily swimming along in his brand new massive house. And eventually, I do want to get him a friend, a new blue axolotl, but that is a project, like I said, for a future date. And now the final project I want to work on, as you can see, we have an absolutely insane amount of iron. Being in this area breeding axolotl this entire time, I've just been getting iron from my iron farm, and I needed something to do with it. I could make beacons or something, but the problem is I actually have run out of beacons, so I need to kill some more wither. And lucky for me, I built a wither farm, and we could go to that and we could start getting some more wither skulls to get some more beacons. But as you can see, my wither farm isn't actually that efficient. We don't get that many wither from it. And one of the problems is the piglin that I have set up a part of this wither farm actually has a crossbow. So he starts attacking the wither and killing them, or at least doing a little bit of damage to them, so that way when they drop, they die. And plus these withers also get stuck on that corner block, as you can see, which is also a problem, which means I am losing an absolute ton of wither skeletons. So I spent a couple of days to refine this entire thing. I decided to expand the drop area where the withers would drop, and then add a wall in the corner instead of a trapdoor so that it would more easily fall down. I then added honey blocks to the bottom, so that way if the piglin did any damage to the wither skeletons, they actually wouldn't die of fall damage. Now it meant I had to actually punch the wither skeletons more times to kill them rather than just hit them once, but with how many extra wither skeletons survived, it actually saved me time in the long run by just having to hit them a couple extra times. So yeah, the entire process, again, really only took me a couple days just to expand that wall a little bit and add a honey block, but we stuck around here for a little bit, and in no time flat, we had 9 wither skeleton skulls, which means we could get 3 new beacons from that. Problem is, we were still a couple days out from day 1400, and I didn't actually want to go into the end and fight these withers and enderdragon right now because I would run out of days too quickly. I needed to stall for another day. So what I decided to do is I realized my food farm was actually full. So I went and got all of that food, and I actually ran out of storage room for it. So I decided, heck with it, we're actually going to turn all of this food into emeralds. I don't need these emeralds for literally anything. I mean, I already have a raid farm to get emeralds, so I don't need to trade these. But I didn't have any room to store the food, so I had to do something with it. So I got a couple stacks of emeralds, and from all of this now, we actually have over a stack of emerald blocks, which I have no idea what to do with. I don't need it, but yeah, I have it. So doing all of that stalled enough time to the point where I could go to sleep and get us to day 1399. And now we were actually ready to fly our way to the end and get to fighting 3 withers and an enderdragon all at once. As you can see, I got the 3 withers ready far enough away so that way their blasts wouldn't affect the spawning of the enderdragon and accidentally break anything. So I put all 4 crystals down, put the final heads on each wither statue, and we spawned 3 withers and an enderdragon all at the same time. Easily one of the most challenging things I'm ever going to have to do. I had all of my golden apples ready, and I found this one wither off by himself away from the other 2 withers, so I decided to target him first, and killing him was ultimately really simple. Withers don't really do that much damage to you when you have full netherite armor enchanted with protection 4. You really have to take damage from something else for it to be dangerous, which I wasn't right now, so I took out that first wither really easily. I then sort of hung around for a bit, and I noticed one wither then straight off by himself again. So I started fighting this one wither, and a stupid enderman also started hitting me, which is also really annoying. Again, I didn't really take that much damage from this individual wither either. Not really that dangerous, but for the final wither, that is where things actually kind of got a little bit dangerous. As you can see, I got down to just half HP right here. I decided to eat steak instead of a golden apple. I figured it would be fine, but then I was accidentally standing in dragon's breath, and I didn't realize it, and then I backed up into some more dragon's breath, and I took more damage, and I actually got down to 3 hearts while fighting this wither, and I had to eat a golden apple so that way I wouldn't die. Again, we weren't really too close to dying, but it's still 3 hearts from death in my hardcore world is still a little bit too close. But anyway, we of course took out that final wither, and now all that was left was taking out the enderdragon, which is simple enough, of course, with the elytra. You just fly around, take out all the towers, shoot the enderdragon with your elytra. When she perches, you hit her with your sword, takes her down to just a little bit of sliver of HP, and all I needed to hit was 3 more bow shots, 1, 2, and 3, and the ender dragon is defeated. I have officially not only survived 1,400 days in Minecraft, I also took on 3 elytra and an ender dragon at the same time and destroyed the end. I mean, this place just looks like an absolute mess with all the damage the withers have done and the projects I've done here. I should probably fix that, but of course I don't have time for that right now. That's a project, like I say, for a future date. But from all of that, we were able to make 3 beacons and put those beacons on top of this iron beacon setup I had built from earlier, but had to steal the beacons for other projects. So we were able to get all of those done, ready to go. And of course, I grabbed my trusty horse, Pongo, which I have had since literally day 1 in my Minecraft series, brought him up to my usual spot on the hill, and me and Pongo watched the sunset to officially bring my Minecraft hardcore world to 1,400 days. That is right, ladies and gentlemen, walking past my little netherite beacon, which looks absolutely amazing and took me several hundred days to build in my previous video. You should go watch that if you haven't already. But here we go. Go to sleep. 1,400 days in hardcore Minecraft. Absolutely amazing. I am still having so much fun with all of this. You can see all of the stuff we have actually built from all of this. All of our farms and just structures for fun. Our big mansion in the background. Our giant Statue of Liberty, Axolotl statue, which looks amazing. And then, of course, the rarest mob in Minecraft, the Blue's Clues, our little blue Axolotl. Absolutely amazing. I absolutely loved this video. I hope you guys did too. If you did, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any future videos, and I will catch you guys in the next one.